Hiyo! Name's Geela, but I also respond to Jella. Welcome back. Okay. Gosh, okay, this is like the first time that I'm going to be recording while doing artsy stuff, so we'll see how this goes or if it'll end up being like just an absolute train wreck. I don't really have a script because this is more live than any of my other videos that I've done where I'm just talking over a speed paint that I've already finished and I already have an idea of what's going on. This, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I just have an idea and I'm going for it. I said that I was going to do a Not Alice video regarding character design, and that is what I'm doing. Okay, I've taken a deep breath. I'm ready to go, doing the best I can. You're here on this journey with me. As you can see, this video is going to be about our darling Layna, the main character of my original series, Not Alice. I'm going to try and keep major spoilers out of this as much as possible while explaining her and her design and her character. So I'm going to just erase this real quick. Not Alice, right? I'm going to make this a nice, pretty bluish color. Okay, so like, not Alice. We see this, right? Not Alice. Oh my gosh, I thought that said not alive. I'm like, mood, but no. Yes, this idea had been mulling about in my mind since 2016, but it looked very different back then, and I believe it's 2016, based off of like life events that sort of happened that I'm like correlating. So we're going to start from the very beginning of like 2016. 2016's Layna was quite different. Layna was not this pretty blue and yellow that like you tend to see right now. Okay, give me a second. I want to pull up a picture. All right, so now I'm back. I pulled up a picture very early on in the webtoon sort of thing. And this is Layna as she is now. You know, gorgeous, beautiful, amazing, whatnot. So she has like the color scheme of like this shade of yellow, this nice looking blue, and white with black, right? That's her color scheme. Layna, her original color scheme was not this. It was instead like red. Yeah, there we go. It was red and it was black. She had black and red in her original design because in actuality she was just a completely different character at that time from a completely different story that I had back in when I was in high school or whatnot regarding like personified playing cards. I was simply drawing a character called Ace of Spades in Wonderland Alice clothing because, you know, like it's fun to just draw Wonderland clothes. I have a picture in an old notebook of mine because, you know, just between you and me, I have a slight notebook hoarding problem, and, you know, I just really hate throwing away my past notebooks. Like, dude, okay? I have notebooks from when I was 7, okay? And I still don't want to throw those away. But I can't for the life of me figure out where or which notebook it was that I drew this character. But anyways, relatively edgy with her black and red color scheme. So blame high school angst adoration, okay? So, you know, black and red, that was her character, and she was relatively angsty as well. So after I wait. Okay, wait. Okay, I'll be right back. I think I know what notebook it is now. Give me a second. I'm gonna have to like cut this. Okay, I'm back. I have a notebook here that like I had since like 2012, 2013, who knows? I am so sure that, like, I have pictures of here of that version of Layna before she was actually Layna, and while she was still, yes! Oh my gosh! My art style was slightly different, not too different, but it was slightly different. My proportions are a bit more off than they are now. At least I improved. Man, I drew a lot of cats. That's probably why I like Cheshire Cat so much. You guys are not allowed to make fun of me, because I think we all agree that we had a phase in which we were slightly angsty. Alright? Good. So this is what she looked like. As I said, she was the Ace of Spades, and I was literally just drawing her in Alice in Wonderland themed clothes that matched her color scheme. Can you guys hear the dogs? And I remember drawing this thing too. Oh my gosh, look at those portions. Look at this face. But, you know, this part here is very similar to our current day Layna, where, you know, she's talking to Cheshire Cat, because Cheshire Cat at that time was still a very annoying character to her. But that's the thing, like, she was literally the only character of, like, the playing cards world that was dropped into Wonderland. So it was literally just a whole bunch of other different characters plus her. So basically she's saying, I was like, you're going to keep calling me Alice, that's not my name. She's obviously much more calm than Layna has been. But her name was Anne B. Ace. Why did I name her Anne? Because it had 3 letters like Ace. I know, profound. Why did her middle name start with a B? I don't know. I think maybe because it started after A. I wasn't Picasso of the writing world, okay? I was doing my best. Just a quick idea of what's going on. This was red, that was red, 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 black, black. Her hair was black, black. And this part of her hair was red. I know she looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. Not Sonic, Shadow. I know she looks like Shadow the Hedgehog, okay? We're not going to look at that anymore. Do not save. I'm not going to look at that anymore. Do not save. But after a bit, I slowly started to take the identity of Ace away from Wonderland as a character design because she didn't really have a real identity in this world because she already had an identity in the playing card story. So another similar thing in which Layna had with Ace, or Anne, was that, they're plucked out of their own world and brought into a new world, isekai'd before I realized what isekai was back then. And there was no familiar characters to her, so, she has no understanding of who these other people are in Wonderland, who are these Wonderland denizens. So Layna, that stayed the same. She still has her memories of her original life. Anne had that, so Layna has that. And they want to go back home. Sounds pretty familiar, right? Yeah, Layna is trying to go back home. She doesn't know how, and she's not really sure if she truly wants to. She's trying to figure that out. But Anne, on the other hand, she knew that she wanted to go home. There was nothing that's going to stop her from going home. Okay, so this is where the timeline begins to get a little fuzzy. 2016, so that's where Anne was sort of this Wonderland character. And then in 2017, so a few months or a year after I had made that original sketch of Anne as Alice, I started seeing this character as her own character and not Ace. So this is where I was just okay, I can't have her just be a copy and paste design of Ace if I want her to be her own character. I started redrawing her. Relatively similar hairstyle, Alice-esque outfit, a very generic Alice-esque outfit. Where the spade was, I put a heart. Not brain surgery or anything like that. She had brown hair, and she wore her typical Alice blue dress with striped leggings or striped boots. And so here, I was trying to figure out a name because, once a character becomes its own character, I want to give them a name to give them a sense of identity and for me to actually remember them. So I looked at the original Alice and the inspiration of Alice, which is Alice Pleasance Little. And I was just okay, Alice, what does that mean? So Alice means truth, noble, gracious, reality. Pleasance, pleasant is literally the name. And little means loud and valley. So I was just okay. Oh, yeah, I wrote not Alice, but this was even before I wrote the actual title. I was just, because I didn't know her name, so I legit wrote she's not Alice. So it ended up becoming the title much later on. But, so I was just okay, I have two names for her. Tracy or Layna. So Tracy being the opposite of what Alice means, or Layna, which is very similar to what Alice means. And I ended up going with Layna. And Darnell, which is Layna's last name, means grass, hidden, and nook, which I found to be the opposite of little. So in the sense of yeah, Layna is similar to Alice, but at the same time different. Waltrude, I just picked that because it sounded like a very different name from Pleasance. Waltrude is very strong, rugged sort of sound, while Pleasance is very, pleasant. And I wanted it to be different in that manner. But it sort of tapered off after that. I didn't really think much of it for about another year or two. 2018, nada. 2019, okay, this is where I start thinking about things again. I start re-exploring the topic because I realize that there's no real story yet, just a basic design and theme that I'm going for. So I started to update the story a bit more, the setting, the Wonderland denizens, but they didn't have any designs yet. They were just concepts. The only designs that I had made by then were Layna and Cheshire Cat. So it wasn't until around 2020 did I actually go hardcore and go ham, because I really wanted to start a webtoon and actually just practice drawing after so long of not drawing. I started to flesh out Layna as a character, creating an actual backstory, her purpose, her goals, sort of her arc that she would be going to, as well as just more personal things. This was my original sort of design of Alice that I was trying to do. This is where I started to focus on actual yellow rather than the blue. Because I did put some thought into it of just do I want Alice, this iteration of Alice, Layna, to be the main blue color scheme? And I was just man, that's so boring. I don't want to be cliche and just go with blue. So I was like looking up because I studied so much about like just Alice in Wonderland in general and different iterations of it. And yellow was actually one of the first colors for Alice to wear. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's go with yellow because red and orange were also colors that were used for Alice's dress throughout the years. But one, I wanted to stray away from red as much as possible, outside of maybe like a accent color. But I wanted yellow to be more of my main. This is one of the original colorations of Alice, and it had this nice little yellow and this nice color of blue. So I try to emulate that while still making it more modern, because I didn't really want it to be very, like, too dated in how it looked, because there's so many designs of Alice that people dress up as or draw about that has like this apron sort of esque sort of thing. I'm just like, no, I want it to be slightly different. I want her to be a little bit more unique. So instead of like an apron, her outfit is actually more of like a suspender dress with leggings underneath and her boots. But as you can tell, there has been changes. This sort of part, like of her leg, has stayed the same. The yellowish color stayed the same. The hairstyle relatively stayed the same. But that leads to our current day. This is the one where I put in a lot of like actual effort and time into of like trying to figure out her design. So these were like my first 3 that I tested out. Okay, so really quickly, I wanted to say like a really quick character point of Layna. She was born on October 23rd, 1999 at 7:11 p.m. British time. She was born and raised in Oxford. So by the time that she enters Wonderland, she's about 17 years. Like, she is 17, not about. She is 17 years old. So I looked at a lot of popular trends of the early or mid 2000s because I wanted her time period to sort of influence her outfit just a little bit. I didn't know if I did a good job, but I attempted. First outfit, skater skirt, Vans. Of course, copyright, so I changed them a little bit. A choker necklace. These were all very popular 2010s trends. I really liked that skater skirt, so I ended up keeping that. I didn't particularly like this kind of design for the skater skirt though. Chokers, I also kept that in the final iteration. With outfit 2, this is where more of her heritage comes in because Layna has sort of like a Greek origin. So I wanted some of her Greek heritage to be there because of that name, it gave me a wondering of like, oh, what would her ethnicity be? What would her background be? And so she is half British, half Greek in the sense of her father's side is British. Like, they've been in Britain, they've lived in Britain for a long time, long history in Britain, but they probably do have Germanic and French heritage somewhere in there. Regarding her mother's side, she is fully Greek. So her mother's family, some of them live in Britain, some of them live in Greece still. So I wanted this one to be a bit more Greek inspired. Midi skirts as well as the cold shoulders, also popular 2010s trends. I ended up really liking the sort of cold shoulder aspect because I was also thinking between the difference between this and that is that Layna would probably not want her arms to be revealed. But I didn't particularly like the midi skirt. Like, I understand it's a trend, but I personally didn't like it and I didn't want to draw it. So I wanted to change that. Then we have sort of the original version of what I had over here, except just drawn more nicely and with combat boots. Oh yeah, her shoes were just formal dress shoes that she probably got from being in sixth form. Sixth form is like the United States version of 11th and 12th grade, but they call it year 12 and year 13. And so they tend to wear relatively formal outfits as a uniform. Here, this is combat boots. I figured, combat boots are just nice to look at, and one, they're comfortable. They were also partially in trend, and, I just liked the ability that, stripes. We need more stripes in this outfit. And of course, I also put headbands in there. Headbands were more of a trend in 2000s, but she grew up in there, so she probably wore them when she was younger. So nostalgia aspect. And the Greek aspect came in of like it being 3 and sort of this little leaf thing right there. It had some inspiration of laurel wreath crowns, and some crowns that people wore had like forms of 2 or 3. I didn't want it to just be a typical 1 headband, so I put 3 instead because I liked that number. And this is where I started to combine things that I liked. Ended up going with this one, as you can see. However, if you guys notice, there is something missing that I ended up putting in last minute when I started drawing my webtoon. It's this thing. Why? Yeah, I just wanted more yellow in her outfit. Other than that, I just really liked how this looked all together, had all the aspects that I enjoyed. I did move it down a little bit because of the skater skirt, And this over here on the side, that's just her sixth form outfit that you see in the very, very beginning. Her hair is pretty much the same. The only difference is that it's not as fluffy. It's just a bit more flat. But she keeps it relatively combed because, you know, there's a uniform, there's a dress code. In terms of the colors, I wanted the yellow to be the same. I needed a different shade of blue, something a bit more formal, a bit more professional to match this. The white turned into gray. And then her stockings became different types of legging stockings, sort of the different color shoes, a bit more reddish side to match her hair. So yeah, that's that. Very simple, very straightforward to just show that, you know, she did take her education relatively seriously. It's a place where she could get away from stuff and not think about issues that she was having, and where she could try and better herself, even though she was relatively much of a loner. So that is the main thing of my character design. Anyways, I think that's everything that I have to say. We went through the journey that it was of creating Not Alice and Layna as a character. Probably will tell more on a later date. Until then, I hope you guys are safe. Annyeong, adios, bye!